So in one of my recent community posts, I posted about How a Good All Story of Music, the last video that I did, and in the comments on that, Bygone68 said, looking forward to it. I saw that the UK state opening of Parliament is on Tuesday. It'd be interesting to see what you think of it. My first thought was, what in the world is a state opening of Parliament? My second thought was, I have a great idea. What if I did like a live stream and we all watched it together? And then I saw what time it was, and it was like 11 a.m. UK time, which means it would be 5 o'clock in the morning here, and well, you know, that's just not going to happen. So I decided to wait until they had a recording up of it. Then I looked at the 2021 version, and then I thought, well, you know what? I wonder if this is like the full thing because, you know, of COVID. Then I decided to look at 2019, you know, before everything went down and kind of compare the two and pick which one would be the better one to react to. And it was like night and day. It was obvious that because of everything going on, they had really scaled back everything. And I didn't really feel like I was going to get a real true picture of what, you know, it was actually like. So I decided to react to the one from 2019 because I do want to see the full, you know, drama of it all. So I hope you don't mind that it's not the one from this year. But by the way, if you haven't noticed yet, you know, Roger has a new hat. He's not saying anything because the Queen's Guards are supposed to be silent. So the other thing about this video is that it's a little over an hour long. All of the shorter versions cut out most of the ceremony and they just kind of showed the part where the Queen was speaking to Parliament. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch an hour's worth of this, but it's probably going to be edited down because, like I said, I just very quickly skimmed through it just to make sure it was a good video to react to. And there was a lot of just people sitting around, you know, looking at everybody else. So we might cut out some of those dead spots, but I'll make sure that I get all of the action in, and also be prepared for like 1,000 questions because I honestly have no idea what to expect, what this is. The only thing I can compare it to over here in the US is that we do have Congress, which starts new sessions every couple of years or so. So I'm assuming that's kind of like what this is, but you all will have to let me know if there's a lot more like historical significance to it than that. Anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this because I don't want to make this video too long, but I really do appreciate this suggestion. There were a couple of other people that also brought it up to me as well, I think on social media. So yeah, I had actually no idea that this was a thing. I just thought that Parliament conducted its business and that was all that there was to it. I had no idea that there was like a whole big ceremony involved. And also, before we get into this video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy it. And feel free to join me on social media if you're interested in that. The links to all of that is in my pinned comment and the description of this video. So let's check out the state opening of Parliament. I am actually really looking forward to this because, like I said, we don't really have anything like this over here in the States. So this is going to be a completely different experience for me. I love how the riding is like trot trot and then it like goes down. I don't know if that's like a normal horse trot or not, but it looks very fancy. I love how the horses are all like dressed up too. This guy is driving is wearing like a colonial style outfit. Very fancy carriage. Is the Queen inside there? Queen, I don't know. I don't know who those guys were. Well, who's in this carriage? Cars. I'm assuming that was the... I think somebody mentioned that the Queen came in a carriage, so I'm assuming she's in one of those carriages. Or are they coming to pick her up? That would make more sense. If they're at Buckingham Palace, she lives there, right? So they were probably picking her up, maybe? To take her over to Parliament? So the cops over there, what's the difference between the ones with the taller hats and the ones with the like more like the visor hats with a little checkerboard brim on them? Very fancy. It's like a gold. Is that the throne up there? Okay, so what is this room exactly? Because Parliament's divided into the house. Is it the House of Lords and the House of Commons? Is that what it is? Everybody's in, I guess, traditional robes. You guys like to dress up in your traditional clothing, that's for sure. Like, we wouldn't do this over here in the US. I'm not sure we even have, like, traditional clothing we could wear, honestly. Like, maybe the colonial stuff. Like, I know during the presidential inaugurations, they'll have, like, you know, bands coming through that are kind of dressed like the old, colonial soldiers or whatever, but that's the only time you ever see stuff like that, really. It was in parades or something. Okay, this is outside Buckingham Palace. You guys still use carriages and everything. So so the Queen's carriage is inside there, right? I just noticed that. So about that, are those carriages like fortified to protect her in any way? I mean, I guess I don't think anybody would want to like assassinate her or whatever or harm her. Is the sense I get from most people in Britain. I don't know. You guys let me know. Are there people that would ever want to like assassinate the Queen? It just seems like a carriage would be a really, really, I don't know, wouldn't be very protective. I apologize if my comments sound really weird to all of you guys over in the UK. You know, the only thing I can compare it to is what I know, which is over here in the US. And obviously we do things very differently over here, which is part of the fascinating, aspect of this, is because it is so different. Whoa, they're wearing wigs. And everybody's wearing robes. I'm assuming that Parliament wore these robes back in the day. Like, I'm assuming they don't wear this. I mean, do they wear this every day? I'm assuming they don't. This is just like for this ceremony, right? So there are people that are just in, normal modern dress as well. So who are these people? Who are the people in the robes, and who are the people in the suits in, just regular clothes? Supreme Court. So you guys have a Supreme Court as well. We probably named our Supreme Court after yours, honestly. These wigs, it just looks like carpet. It looks like carpet. How many justices are on your Supreme Court over there? Because we have 9 over here. You know, when I see these wigs, like in movies or in pictures, I just assume that they try to like make it look like real hair, but that's not the case here. It literally is like a rug on their head. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just kind of like shocked at it a little bit. This guy on the right has a newer robe, it looks like. He's got more of like a fluffy white part to him. Okay, and we have some Middle Eastern. I don't want to guess what country they're from. It's like Saudi Arabia, almost. So are there guests from other countries that come to this, then? So, okay, House of Lords and the House of Commons, right? Are there other parts of Parliament that I'm not getting right now? See, this feels more like the State of the Union address here in the US, because you have basically everybody together. We all, here in the US, we have the Supreme Court is in the chamber, both houses of Congress are in the chamber together. Joint Chiefs of Staff are together. Basically, everybody who's everybody in government is at the State of the Union address every year, and that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting here as well for this. So we have somebody from the military, it looks like, up there. So who's wearing the wigs? I associate that kind of with justice, like a judge. Is that who they are? We're back in front of Buckingham Palace. I feel like I'm just talking nonstop, and I apologize if that's annoying. Okay, what is this statue in front of Buckingham Palace? What is that a statue of? And is that supposed to be water as well around the statue? It looks kind of dry right now, but it looks like it might have water, or supposed to have water. It's a really pretty area though. It's really pretty. When was Buckingham Palace built? Because I feel like it's fairly new, right? It's fairly recent. I think I saw once that it might even be, I feel like it's around the same age maybe as the White House, but I don't know. Maybe I'm way off on that. It doesn't seem right though. It seems like Buckingham Palace should have been around for a really long time for all of the royals. You guys let me know, when was it built? What are all of the white things around the edge of this roundabout? Is that what you guys would call it? I like how the palace is tucked away behind all of these trees right here. It's like trees and then the rest, everybody else. You guys who know about horses, why do horses do that where they like move their head back like that? What are they doing? And there's like a gallery of people watching this too. Wow. So this is like a big deal. The opening of Parliament, huh? All of the horses? Okay, so why are all of the horses black and we have the one white horse? Is there a significance to that? And then we have, what's the difference between the red capes and the black capes? And they have different helmets as well. And what era is this? So I feel like all of this is harkening back to a previous era in England at some point. So are these not costumes, uniforms, I guess, from a couple hundred years ago? Kind of whereabouts in history is this going back to? I feel like there's supposed to be water in this around the statue.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I guess that's press or something that's up there by it. So are these guys just preceding the Queen or something? What's the deal?
Yeah, heard that. Understood.
We're getting helicopter instructions. So how far back does this ceremony go? Does it go back well, I don't know. Hundreds of years seems like a long time to me. But, I mean, how far back does it go? I guess, maybe at least a couple hundred years, right? Because if I think to our State of the Union address, that goes all the way back to basically the founding of the country, so. Okay, here we go. Wow, look at her carriage. Now, is this real gold on here? And what is all of that on top of her carriage, too? I'm assuming this is the Queen's carriage. I'm not sure. It just looks really unsafe. Like if somebody wanted to... Maybe nobody could get close enough? I don't know. It just... Huh. And what is this, on the ground? Is this just gravel, basically? It doesn't look like pavement. If it's gravel, then somebody has to probably come and, smooth that out every day, right? Man, you guys take the opening of Parliament seriously. Yeah, like nobody cares about Congress starting a new session over here. It's really boring too compared to this. Like I mean, nothing really happens, so. Well, I guess stuff does happen, but nothing that anybody would want to sit there and watch. Okay, so the red capes precede the queen, and the black capes follow her. Sorry if you see a cut right there. Scarlet, my new foster dog, just came in the room, so I had to deal with that. And if you hear her walking around on the floor, her little claws, that's her. Wanna come say hi? Come say hi? You guys probably can't see her. There she is! Say hi, Scarlet! We're watching the Queen. We're watching the Queen go to Parliament. Yes, we're watching the Queen go to Parliament. Yes. No, no. Alright, get down. Probably shouldn't have done that. I'm trying to teach her not to jump. Are these light, like the white things, are they lights? Back in Parliament? Oh wow, there's a band playing down there. Wish we could hear them. Look at all these people. Like, I swear this is like as big a deal as the presidential inauguration over here. Like, that's the only time we do anything like this. But you know what, in fairness, the president usually just like walks down Pennsylvania Avenue with no protection whatsoever, so I don't even know why I'm harping about the carriage here not being protected. It's kind of dumb of me, I didn't think about that. Okay. These videos are going to be fun while Scarlett's here with me, that's for sure. You never know what's going to happen. So how far is this carriage ride then? It's interesting that they only have one rider on the left-hand side up there in the front. So many horses, that's crazy. Like, are these like military horses, or who trains them? Like, where are they kept when all of this stuff doesn't happen? That would be interesting to look to learn about, is where are all of these horses kept? You have police. Are these police officers lining the street right here? Okay, so we are arriving. What's that monument right there? That they're next to? Okay, this just looks like a big muddy parking lot here. But is this the House of Parliament? Or what? I don't know what you call it, sorry. It's very fancy. You guys have very different architecture over there, that's for sure. I don't know how to explain it. Like, we have fancy architecture over here too, but it looks different than this. It's a slightly different style, but I don't know enough about it to be able to talk about it. Other than it just looks different to me. It's crazy, like, these buildings are built to where they have just a bunch of archways where horses go into. And cars? Okay. What is this area right here? Are they just taking a shortcut through this area? I thought that they were coming to this building right here, but apparently not. Okay, they're just taking a shortcut, I guess. More bands playing. I want to hear the bands. It feels weird watching them be on the opposite side of the road than what we would be over here. I think I would be scared to drive over there. I would do something stupid and forget the traffic rules over there. Get myself into a pickle. Okay, here we go. See, what's also interesting to me is the rifles that they're using. Like, over here, they would use more like ceremonial rifles, and these look like legit, more modern rifles. Those bells ringing in the background too. Okay, this is where we started. Okay. I recognize that now. I think that's where. Is this the river Thames? Is it Thames? Is that how you say it? Man, your architecture is something different over there, that's for sure. We have buildings over in the US that look similar to this, like especially like New York and maybe Boston and Washington DC. It's similar. Yeah, that has to be real gold, right? It just looks like it. So who's the other lady in the carriage with the queen? That's really cool. I love the bells ringing in the background. It sounds really, really cool. Just kind of like puts the whole city on alert what's happening. Okay. Well, that hat is... How much do those hats weigh? They look like they weigh a ton. I apologize. I feel like I'm being super annoying and chatty on this video. But I don't know what else to do right now other than just ask questions about what I'm watching. I thought that they already went the other way with maybe this is a different band. Looks like the same spot that you went by the other few minutes ago. What are all of these dots on the ground on the right hand side? Or is that it looks like a parking lot, but are those parking space? It's really not. Their parking spaces, they're very different from, we have solid lines for all of our parking spaces over here. And they look smaller too. Okay, we're going through another tunnel here. Okay, where are we going this time? Another shortcut? Or are we at Parliament? We must be there at this time, because everybody's stopping. Okay, so is this the Parliament? It looks like a cathedral, though. Where is this? Is this it's not Big Ben, is it? No. No. Okay. So this is the house, this is the Parliament's building right here, right on the river? Man, your architecture is just like, I can't get over it. It's like way more, I know it's not Gothic, but it's got way more of a Gothic feel to it than what we have over here. I don't know, what kind of architecture would you call this? They're lowering... Why are they lowering the British flag right now? And what is this flag? Back in Parliament? How long have these guys been sitting there? Like something's about to happen because everybody's getting quiet. We've got a new guy in a tuxedo right here.
Judges, but they just have to sit there in their robes for what, 45 minutes or so?
Yes, and there are some peers who, a bit like, wouldn't like to make the comparison with queuing for the sales to get the good offers when the sales doors opens. But some peers, and there are a notorious bunch of them, who turn up very early, and the moment.
What are they talking about with sales? Queuing like the sales. That little chamber reminded me of the Capitol here, like the rotunda in the Capitol. Wow, they're like walking. It's just so different. I want to say weird because it is weird to me. Like not, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just different. Like weird as in different. What is he carrying to? What is that? What is that? Is that like the royal scepter? I don't know. Oh, we got firing cannons here. Bells ringing, cannons firing. Letting everybody know that Parliament is opening. Yeah, like over here, like literally no one cares about Congress opening. Man, these hats. More cannons firing. When they do these cannon fire, like what's actually coming out of the cannon? I've never understood that. Is it just an effect that makes it look like a flash and a bang, produces smoke? Because it would be dangerous, I'm sure, to be actually like firing anything into the woods right there. Man, I can't get over how dressed up you guys get. Like, just all of this traditional dress. It's so different. Like, we would never, ever do anything like this. Like, this area right here reminds me of the Capitol Rotunda. I mean, it looks a little different, but it gives me, like, that kind of... It feels like that environment, sort of. It must be hot, too. Because you guys don't have air conditioning over there, right? Would they have air conditioning in this part of the, like, in this building? Now, is this lady standing guard right here? Or, I don't know if she's standing guard, but is she a policewoman? Or is she military? Because she has the medals on her chest? But it looks like a police hat, like the checkered brim thing. And these statues, who are these statues of as well? Are these like past prime ministers, king? I don't know. Does the floor say something too? I feel like those are letters, but I can't make them out what they say. Okay, that's Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth. Oh, she's got a little cute little kids helping her, like with her robe.
My lords, pray be seated.
Did she say pray be seated? Her voice gets me every time. It's like this soft, like timid almost voice. Whose crown is that? She looks like she's inspecting them almost, in a way. So what is the Queen's relationship with Parliament? Exactly. Because I know a lot of you guys have told me in the comments of my other videos that the Queen doesn't have any like real power anymore. So I guess she's just it's a ceremonial role here. But I guess I'm asking, like, what does the Queen have to do with the opening of Parliament? Maybe it's just a tradition type thing? I don't know. There's like a door with a window in it. Who are these people?
Mr. Speaker, the Queen commands this honourable House.
to attend Her Majesty immediately in the House of Peers.
House of Peers? So you guys have a Speaker of the House, I'm assuming, as well, because we have one of those. House of Peers. What is this thing that they're carrying? It's a cross. There's a cross on top of it. The Boris Johnson. He looks very amused by all of this. So now this is more familiar. Like, this is what our Congress looks like pretty much over here. So, but it's interesting. You guys have benches. We don't have benches in our Congress. They all have their individual seats. Look at all the mics hanging from the ceiling too. I guess that's because you guys, they like just shout back and forth at each other randomly, and you have to be able to pick that up, and it's televised sometimes. Do you guys have like a channel that televises Parliament all the time? Like we have that over here, where we can see the House of Representatives and the Senate do their business all the time. Who are these people watching? Are they just like random people that got picked to be here watching, or are these press? Are they family members? Where are they all gonna? They just gonna stand there like that? I was wondering, like, where are they all gonna sit or whatever? I feel like this is so different, so bizarre. Again, when I say that, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just bizarre as in, like, I can't wrap my head around it because it is so like foreign to what I'm used to. So he was delivering the Queen's speech in that, with like a rug that he was carrying, but I don't know what it was.
My Lords and members of the House of Commons, my government's priority has always been to secure the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union on the 31st of October. My government intends to work towards a new partnership with the European Union based on free trade and friendly cooperation. My ministers will work to implement new regimes for fisheries, agriculture and trade, seizing the opportunities that arise from leaving the European Union. An immigration bill ending free movement will lay the foundation for a fair, modern and global immigration system. My government remains committed to ensuring that resident European citizens who have built their lives in and contributed so much to the United Kingdom have the right to remain. The bill will include measures that reinforce this commitment. Steps will be taken to provide certainty, stability, and new opportunities for the financial services and legal sectors. My government's new economic plan will be underpinned by a responsible fiscal strategy, investing in economic growth while maintaining the sustainability of the public finances. Measures will be brought forward to support and strengthen the National Health Service, its workforce and resources, enabling it to deliver the highest quality care. New laws will be taken forward to help implement the National Health Service's long-term plan in England and to establish an independent body to investigate serious healthcare incidents. My government will bring forward proposals to reform adult social care in England to ensure dignity in old age. My ministers will continue work to reform the Mental Health Act to improve respect for and care of those receiving treatment. My government is committed to addressing violent crime and to strengthening public confidence in the criminal justice system. New sentencing laws will see that the most serious offenders spend longer in custody to reflect better the severity of their crimes.
Sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful in her speech and pause it, but I have to ask, when she says my government, who is she referring to exactly? Because you'll have to excuse my ignorance, but I still don't really understand the relationship between the Queen and what she's talking about here, because, you know, she's a ceremonial role. She doesn't really have power, but she's putting forth all of these measures that she's going, or her government, I don't know who that is, I'm assuming Parliament? Or is the House of Lords, like, more associated with the Queen? And then you have the House of Commons that are more associated with the people? Is that how it works? That might be a stupid assumption, but, yeah, explain to me how everything she's saying right here, what, like, her role is in all of it.
Measures will be introduced to improve the justice system's response to foreign national offenders. My government will work to improve safety and security in prisons and to strengthen the rehabilitation of offenders. Proposals will be brought forward to ensure that victims receive the support they need and the justice they deserve. Laws will be introduced to ensure that the parole system recognizes the pain to victims and their families caused by offenders refusing to disclose information relating to their crimes. A new duty will be placed on public sector bodies, ensuring they work together to address serious violence. Police officers will be provided with the protections they need to keep the population safe. They will also be awarded the power to arrest individuals who are wanted by trusted international partners. My government will bring forward measures to protect individuals, families, and their homes. Legislation will transform the approach of the justice system and other agencies to victims of domestic abuse and minimize the impact of divorce, particularly on children. My ministers will continue to develop proposals to improve internet safety and will bring forward laws to implement new building safety standards.
She's covering all the bases here, isn't she?
My ministers will ensure that all young people have access to an excellent education, unlocking their full potential and preparing them for the world of work. My government will take steps to make work fairer, introducing measures that will support those working hard. To help people plan for the future, measures will be brought forward to provide simpler oversight of pension savings. To protect people's savings for later life, new laws will provide greater powers to tackle irresponsible management of private pension schemes. To ensure that the benefits of a prospering economy reach every corner of the United Kingdom, my ministers will bring forward a national infrastructure strategy. This will set out a long-term vision to improve the nation's digital, transport, and energy infrastructure. New legislation will help accelerate the delivery of fast, reliable, and secure broadband networks to millions of homes. An aviation bill will provide for the effective and efficient management of the United Kingdom's airspace. Proposals on railway reform will be brought forward. A white paper will be published to set out my government's ambitions for unleashing regional potential in England and to enable decisions that affect local people to be made at a local level. My government is committed to establishing the United Kingdom as a world leader in scientific capability and space technology. Increased investment in science will be complemented by the development of a new funding agency, a more open visa system, and an ambitious national space strategy. My ministers remain committed to protecting and improving the environment for future generations. For the first time, environmental principles will be enshrined in law. Measures will be introduced to improve air and water quality, tackle plastic pollution, and restore habitats so plants and wildlife can thrive. Legislation will also create new legally binding environmental improvement targets. A new world-leading independent regulator will be established in statute to scrutinize environmental policy and law, investigate complaints, and take enforcement action. Proposals will also be brought forward to promote and protect the welfare of animals, including banning imports from trophy hunting. The integrity and prosperity of the Union that binds the four nations of the United Kingdom is of the utmost importance to my government. My ministers will bring forward measures to support citizens across all the nations of the United Kingdom. My government remains committed to working with all parties in Northern Ireland to support the return of devolved government and to address the legacy of the past. My government will take steps to protect the integrity of democracy and the electoral system in the United Kingdom. My government will continue to invest in our gallant armed forces. My ministers will honour the Armed Forces Covenant and the NATO commitment to spend at least 2% of national income on defence. As the United Kingdom leaves the European Union, my government will ensure that it continues to play a leading role in global affairs, defending its interests and promoting its values. My government will be at the forefront of efforts to solve the most complex international security issues. It will champion global free trade and work alongside international partners to solve the most pressing global challenges. It will prioritize tackling climate change and ensuring that all girls have access to 12 years of quality education. Members of the House of Commons, estimates for the public services will be laid before you. My Lords and members of the House of Commons, other measures will be laid before you. I pray that the blessing of Almighty God may rest upon your councils.
So you guys mentioned God too in your government, I guess. Maybe not as much as we do, but... Never seen a speech holder look like that before. That's really interesting. This is, I would have to say, this is more like our State of the Union than it would be like a Congress opening. Because the president gives a similar speech like that to Congress. How long her robe is, man. I also feel like your prime minister, like Boris Johnson, is just sitting there or standing there amongst everybody else. Your prime minister is not quite, I don't think, on the same level as the president is over here. I just don't feel like it is. I know that he's more of the equal of the president, but at the same time, like, the president of the US wouldn't be standing there just in the middle of everyone else like that. And the fact that he like goes into the house and like debates with him and stuff too, right? Which our president doesn't do. Maybe our president is more like a combo between the Queen and the Prime Minister in a way. And I'm sure these comparisons are completely off. Like I said, I'm just trying to make sense of them for myself. Because it's all I know. All I know is our government over here. And we're putting that back in here now. Wait, is that staying there all the time then? Like, there are a lot of similarities to this and, like, the House or the Senate chamber, but again, it's, again, very different as well. So is everybody just meeting to, like, kick off the session at this point, or... Looks like it. So when does the Prime Minister come in here and actually, like, give speeches or debate with them? Is it just every once in a while, or does it happen a lot? Because Boris just kind of, like, he left. Okay. We have a clock. 11:56. Something is supposed to happen at, like, noon or something. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Alright, you guys, Roger and I just sat through an hour and 10 minutes of watching the state opening of Parliament. I have to say it was quite an experience. There were a lot of surprises in there, a lot of things I wasn't quite expecting to see. I know I had a ton of questions, and I know you probably can't possibly answer all of them down below, but, you know, if there's a question that you feel like answering, then by all means, please do that. Anyway, Scarlett's getting kind of bored. I'm gonna have to go out and take her for a walk. Yeah. You're ready to go for a walk, aren't you? Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of pomp and circumstance. Again, like, even with our State of the Union, we have certain traditions that we follow, but it's nothing like nobody dresses up. And our traditions, I feel like, are not quite on this level. We don't have any of this fancy smancy stuff that you guys have over there in the UK. So that's why it was so interesting for me to watch this and just see how different your government is and just like how differently you guys do things over there. Now, another highly recommended one was the Trooping of the Color, which I think is the Queen's birthday, and it's a very similar thing where there's a whole ceremony that happens. I'm assuming we'll see a lot of the same type of people that we saw in this as well. I am going to do that at some point, hopefully in the not too distant future, but thanks for this suggestion. I learned something brand new about the UK and the government and your culture over there that I had absolutely no idea even existed just like 3 days ago. Again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and again, follow me on social media if you would like to do that. I do post some behind the scenes pictures of what's happening in my life there. And Scarlett is really getting antsy right now, so I'm gonna go take her for a walk, and Roger's still sitting here stoically as he's supposed to do. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.